Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. Today's video, I'm continuing my series on ranking every single Best Picture winner, all 95. I am now down to number 45 through number 36 on my list, so stay tuned to hear my thoughts here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well here on a Monday afternoon. And it's definitely, snow is coming down pretty good right now. So it's going to be an interesting drive to work tonight. So hopefully that I'll get to work okay. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of snow when it's snowing. After snow is gone, hopefully the streets are cleared. I'm okay with snow. But as it's falling, I'm not crazy about it because I don't like driving in snowy weather. So yeah, so it's definitely getting very cold here in Kansas and very snowy. So winter is finally really hitting here pretty hard here in January. And yeah, and Happy New Year to everybody. This is the first video I've done for this year. We're a week or so into the new year. I've done a couple of live streams and I got a couple more live streams coming up this next week. So, and some ones I'm really excited about doing that I'll announce on the channel, probably in my community post sometime. But yeah, this is my first video for this year. Definitely got a lot of projects I'm still trying to finish up, like this one, and then new projects to start. And so, and also, feels like I haven't done a video in a while because, you know, at the end of the year, I like to do a lot of end of the year retrospective videos and stuff about, you know, the years, but in movies and so forth. And, you know, then we have the holidays, and I was visiting my parents this last week. So I was busy doing that, traveling, visiting family. And then I also got sick for a couple days. So I was out for a couple days being sick and recovering from all of that. So I feel a lot better today. So hopefully I'll be okay for the rest of the week. Anyway, so yeah, I definitely plan on starting to get these videos out. I haven't done videos in a while. So this is the first one. And this is going through all the Best Picture winners like I've been doing. Starting with number 45. So we're in the top 50 of my favorite Best Picture winners, I guess you can say. We're starting to get into some pretty good ones here, ones I'm starting to enjoy more. Again, thanks to my sister Abby, who won my contest last year, predicting the most Oscar winners. And I'll probably do the same contest this year. So definitely, hopefully check out, and you can kind of decide what I do next on my channel. So saying all that, let's start with number 45 on my list. This is Best Picture winner is The French Connection, won Best Picture in 1971. Yeah, I'm not as high on this video or this movie as other people. It seems like this is a pretty big hit. I mean, pretty big hit. A lot of movie fans really like this movie. Unfortunately, my favorite movie came out that year, Fiddler on the Roof. So I'm just vastly disappointed that French Connection beat it out, because I think Fiddler on the Roof is a much better movie than French Connection. The French Connection, you know, it's Gene Hackman starring as this police detective, Popeye, who's he deals with drug smuggling. It's called The French Connection because of the French drug smuggler that he's after, he's trying to catch. And that's pretty much the whole movie, is him trying to catch this drug smuggler. And so it's a little more gritty type movie. The main character is not a likable character, really. He doesn't really abide by the rules of cops should abide by and all that. Gene Hackman, you know, he's a good actor. It's not my favorite performance of his. He's definitely, like I said, it's a very rough character, I guess. That's why people liked it. It's a big win, like I said, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Gene Hackman. And it's really got one exciting scene in it. It's famous for that one car chase scene that comes towards the end of the movie. But besides that, I thought it was kind of a boring movie. Didn't really care for the characters that much or the plot. And it doesn't really end very good either. I didn't really care for the ending. So not huge on The French Connection like other people. So I have here at number 45. Number 44, we have The Departed, which won Best Picture in 2006. It was Martin Scorsese's only Best Picture win and Best Director, which is always odd because it feels like he should have won Best Director for other movies, but it felt like finally the Oscars were like, okay, we got to give Scorsese this one. He's been nominated so many times, and so it definitely feels like it was one that, I don't want to say he didn't deserve it, but it felt like it was one of those Oscars like, well, Scorsese finally got one. It's another, cop drama, mafia drama type movie that Scorsese is known for, which I'm not crazy about those type of movies. It has a great cast. I mean, you got Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson in one of his last big roles, I want to say, before he retired. Yeah, Vera Farmiga, yeah, like Mark Wahlberg gets an Oscar nomination for his role, which was interesting. Alec Baldwin, Martin Sheen. I mean, so yeah, great cast. The premise is kind of interesting type of premise. Not my favorite type of genre. And then I hated the ending. To be honest, the ending was, I thought it ended on such a like, okay, now what? Like what was the purpose of all this, kind of ending. So I did not like the ending. Not a movie I ever go back to. I mean, it's got some good performances. It's got some grittiness to it, but not a big fan of this one. The Departed on number 44 on my list. Number 43 is a movie I doubt anybody's ever heard of. It's one of the more obscure movies, won Best Picture, and it's called Tom Jones. Won Best Picture in 1963. Tom Jones, not the singer Tom Jones, which is very odd. There's a famous singer named Tom Jones, but this movie has nothing to do with the singer Tom Jones. It's just weird that I'm guessing it's probably based off of a book of some kind called Tom Jones. It's a very British movie, and you got a young Albert Finney here, which I like. Albert Finney's a great actor, and it's kind of fun seeing a young Albert Finney in the role as Tom Jones, the main character. And it kind of follows him as he was adopted, and he's trying to find his real dad. And it's like, I want to say like 1700s or something like that, England or something like that, 1800s England. So it's kind of a period piece, and it's a comedy. He's, womanizer. He's with a lot of different women during the movie. It has a pretty good cast to it. Good British actors in it. And it's, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a quirky type comedy for its time. And they do a lot of interesting stuff with the story. I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it. I might be the only one, but almost would say it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I feel like most people would not have this movie this high. It's not one of the most renowned Best Picture winners there are, or movies in general. Like I said, most people have never seen this movie, probably have heard of it. I don't know. I recommend first, give it a watch, see what you think. It's kind of an interesting movie. I said I really like Albert Finney in it, and I like some of the comedy in it as well. So I'd give it a chance. So Tom Jones at number 43 on my list. Number 42, I have The Sting, which won in 1973, right between the two Godfather movies. This is the big another pairing of Paul Newman, Robert Redford, which is a great pairing. A movie I've only seen once, but my memory is I enjoyed this movie. It's because it's kind of this, these two kind of con men taking place in, I don't know, the 1920s or something like that. Again, you got kind of that period piece going for it, kind of gangster period. And they're con men, and they're on this long con, and and the ending is great. Like the way it ends, it like surprises you. You're like, what? And the way it's revealed, I think it's great. Like I think that definitely helps out. And you have Paul Newman, Robert Redford. They're great in it, of course. And it's just a fun movie, I think. Definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen that one. Yeah, it's some great just con scenes and gambling scenes in there. But yeah, I like this one, The Sting at number 42. Number 41, we got In the Heat of the Night, won Best Picture in 1967. It's an interesting movie. It's a solid film. Norman Jewison, who directed Fiddler on the Roof, he's one of my favorite directors of this period. And this was a huge hit for him, winning Best Picture, but he did not win Best Director, surprisingly, which I wish he would have, because he's a great director. You got Rod Steiger and Sidney Poitier, two really great actors. Rod Steiger wins the Oscar for Best Actor for this role, playing a kind of a racist cop. And the whole thing is a murder has happened, and Sidney Poitier plays a detective from the North who, lives in more of a, he's black, but he lives in a place where I guess he's more accepted, but he's in the South where, of course, there's a lot of racism going on at this time. And so he's asked to help out with this investigation. He just kind of happens, he gets arrested because he's black, basically, and then they realize, oh, you're not, you're a detective, why don't you help us on this murder case? And he kind of agrees, I guess, to help him out and deals with all this, Southern racism and stuff. And Poitier gives such a great performance. I would have given the Oscar to Poitier over Steiger personally. Both are good actors, but you get the really great, line, they call me Mr. Tibbs, iconic line in the movie. Overall, it's a solid murder mystery movie with some good performances in it. It's not as epic as some of the other movies. Interestingly, it seems like just a regular movie in a sense, just a regular murder mystery movie. Nothing too shocking here or too out there. I feel like it could be almost like made for TV, crime, because we have so many murder mystery shows on right now. It could have fit in with any murder mystery show we have today. But still, I think with all the, dealing with race and all that kind of helped, make it a bigger movie. But yeah, it's not like groundbreaking, but still a solid movie. And in the heat of the night at number 41 on my list. Number 40, I have a comedy, one of the few comedies to win Best Picture, and that Annie Hall, that won 1977. It's a Woody Allen picture, which I'm not a fan of Woody Allen. Of course, he has a very troubled personal life that I don't like, and I generally don't try not to promote his movies because of his stuff he's done in his personal life. I also don't think he's the funniest. I don't know. He's made so many movies. He's hugely popular. Comedian and director, writer, and actor. And I don't know, I've never been a huge Woody Allen guy. Like, I never thought he was that funny. Like, he's a little bit overrated for me. This is, to me, a surprise Best Picture winner, especially and it's a bit of a travesty because it beat Star Wars. Star Wars should have won for Best Picture this year. It's definitely the most memorable, the biggest movie that came out that year. And just a better movie and a better story. I think Annie Hall, it's just a romantic comedy basically, with Woody Allen and Diane Keaton, who won Best Actress for the role. Woody Allen would win Best, I think, Director maybe, and Writer or something like that. So a big movie for Woody Allen during kind of his peak period, I think, as a filmmaker. But in some of the comedy does work. There's some good comedic moments. There's some great lines in there as well, I will admit. And but overall, I didn't care for the story, the romance element of it. And it doesn't really end. It ends kind of really crummy. I mean, it just has a really crummy ending to it. Where you're like, oh, like this is not a good ending. What was the whole point of it? Because a romance story, romance comedy, it ends with them, coming together and being happy together. And it doesn't end with them being together at the end. Spoilers for the movie. And it doesn't end happily, really, for the characters. For the most part, I think they end up being friends at the end. But for me, it was like, what's the point? Like, I want to see these two together, if anything. So I don't know. To me, it's a bit overrated. But yeah, I have it at number 40 because it does have some good comedic moments to it. It's probably one of the better Woody Allen movies I've seen. So it's here at 40. 39, I have The King's Speech, won in 2010. It's another one where it's a solid movie, but I wouldn't consider it like one of my favorite movies. And I think Social Network should have won this year. It was kind of the big movie that I think most people talk about. This did have one of the best performances. So Colin Firth gave an amazing performance. One of my favorite lead actor performances. Winning Best Actor that year for playing, playing a real life person. Of course, the King of England, King George, I believe he was. And he had a stuttering problem. And so it deals all with his stuttering, and he had this friendship with this therapist. He had a relationship with this therapist who helped him get over some of the stuttering, played by Jeffrey Rush, another great actor who was also nominated. Helen Bonham Carter is in here, who's really good. So a good British movie, I would say. It won a lot of Oscars for that. And I would say like I said, acting's really good. It's an interesting story, I suppose, true story behind it. I would say the only problem is it ends with, the whole thing builds up to he has to give a speech after, against Hitler because World War II is starting. And so he has to give a speech and, he's nervous because he has a stuttering problem. And so the whole movie ends with him giving a speech, and to me it's like, okay, that's like very anticlimactic. Like I'm just waiting to watch him do a speech. Like, okay, that's it. So to me, it's not the most exciting ending to the movie for an okay movie for me. So that's why I have The King's Speech at number 39. Number 38, I'm going way back to another classic. Again, I'm a big Frank Capra fan, and this is another Frank Capra movie, and this is You Can't Take It With You from 1938. So we're going all the way back to the 30s on this one. It's not even one of my favorite Capra movies, but it's a solid Capra movie. And interesting fact is, when I was in high school, we put on the play "You Can't Take It With You" my junior year, and I was in the play. I used to do plays and musicals in high school. I loved acting on stage, and I played Mr. DePena. I still remember the character, and it's a small role in the play. There's a lot of characters, but it was a fun character. It had a lot of comedy to it and stuff like that. So I got some laughs on stage. But anyway, so I do have some nostalgia for the movie because I did the play in high school, 20 some years ago, and it's a really good play. I really enjoyed doing it. I think it's even better than the movie though. The movie, they changed things around, of course, because it's a movie. Still, it owes, it's that great Frank Capra, good feel good type movie where, it like a lot of his movies, it promotes friendship over money. It's better to have good friends and be humble and all this stuff than to it's better to do all it kind of contrasts, characters in the movie that are really rich, but they're miserable. So it's like, do you want to be rich and miserable, or do you want to be poor and, have, do what you like to do, so that's kind of the idea behind it. And it gets, you can't take it with you, meaning when you die, you can't take money with you. So why make yourself miserable making money when everybody dies and you can't take money with you when you leave this place? So it's kind of a good feel. It's a good message overall. And you got the great Jimmy Stewart, which I love Jimmy Stewart. He's great in the lead. You got Lionel Barrymore as Grandpa, which is a great character, kind of one of the main characters of really the main character of the movie. And you get to see Lionel Barrymore do a likable character, unlike Mr. Potter, which is a very unlikable character in It's a Wonderful Life. And he's a good actor, so it's great seeing him in that role. It's still, I think, a solid movie. I definitely recommend it. I love Frank Capra type movies, so yeah, that's at number 38 on my list. Number 37, we're going with more of a World War II kind of epic movie, and that is The Bridge on the River Kwai, which won Best Picture in 1957. I don't know if it's based on a true story, but I think it's based on some true stories or something like that happened, where taken during British prisoners of war. The Japanese have captured this bunch of British troops, and their commander, the British commander, is played by Alec Guinness, who of course played Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, who wins the Oscar for Best Actor in his role here, and of course wins Best Picture and all that. And interesting movie. It's pretty long. You also have William Holden in here, who is a prisoner escapee who then helps the army come in, and the whole thing is the Japanese make the British troops build a bridge, of course, bridge over the River Kwai. And of course, they're British, so they want to build, a good bridge because they're all about, high quality, I guess. So the commander's, making sure his troops are making a good bridge. But then at the same time, it's like, why? You're making a good bridge for the enemy. Like, it doesn't, make a lot of sense. Why would you do a good job? But at the same time, they want to be proud of their work, and he wants to help the morale of his troops. So, and make a good bridge and all this. And he gets kind of caught up in the whole making this bridge for the enemy thing, that he forgets, hey, wait a minute, you're, a British troop that's, trying to fight the enemy. And then William Holden's trying to bring in a group that's trying to blow up that bridge, in a sense. Anyway, so it has a very great climatic ending. I think the best part of the movie is the ending is really, really well done, and very exciting, very kind of shocking at some points. I think it's a little too long, I would say, but still, it's a solid World War II movie. Definitely recommend it to anybody who hadn't seen it. So that's A Bridge Over the River Kwai, number 37. The last movie I'll talk about, number 36, is kind of a somewhat controversial win here, but I like the movie, and that is Crash, which won Best Picture in 2004. It was controversial because the movie that everybody thought was going to win, including myself, and was kind of the front runner, was Brokeback Mountain. That was winning all the awards. It was the big talk of the award season. And then we got to the Oscars, and then Crash surprised everybody and won Best Picture instead of Brokeback Mountain. And of course, if you know, Brokeback Mountain's about two cowboys who end up being gay and having a gay affair while they're on their, whatever. They're out, doing their thing, rounding up cattle or whatever. And they both have, wives and stuff. And they both have heterosexual relationships, but they keep coming back to each other because they're like, in love with each other. It's definitely a very controversial movie at the time, dealing with that kind of subject matter. But yeah, it was at that time where that was, people definitely were fighting for it, but yet it didn't win. So there were still some people in the Academy that were still against that type of movie, I guess. And so it surprisingly went up with the Crash. And a lot of people hate Crash. Crash, anytime you see a list, Crash is going to be on that list of movies that shouldn't have won, or worst Best Picture winner. So it gets hated a lot, I think, because a lot of people wanted Brokeback Mountain to win, wanted to be this, first time, a gay movie wins, Best Picture, they wanted to have that on there. It was going to be a big, win for the gay community, I suppose. And so I think a lot of people feel kind of, mad that Crash crashed the party in a sense. But I still like Crash. I thought it was actually a pretty interesting movie. I think a lot of people don't like that. It's all about racism, I guess. And a lot of people thought it was, I don't know, it was, I can't think of the word, but they didn't like the whole overall message, I guess, of the movie. And I don't know, for me, I thought it was an interesting take on, or idea about, it kind of, it's a different people of different races, and it kind of, the idea to me was that it showcases a lot of different people in different, situations, and you see someone of a different race do something really bad and terrible, where you're like, wow, that's a horrible thing that person did. And then you'll see them do a really good thing, and you go, huh, that was a really good thing. So it's kind of, it makes you think, not all people are bad, not all people are good. There's, gray areas where sometimes they're capable of doing good, everybody's capable of doing bad, kind of thing. Obviously, some of the bad things that happen can't be forgiven, I think. Definitely need to be punished. But at the same time, it does make you think a little bit, like, you shouldn't judge everybody by one act, or you shouldn't judge a book by its cover kind of idea. I mean, two of my favorite stories was, my favorite was Sydney, what's her name? Bullock, Sandra Bullock. I thought gave a great performance, should have been nominated for an Oscar, playing like a rich white woman who, kind of looks down maybe on some minorities, and she lives in the, rich white community. But then she falls down some stairs and hurts her ankle real bad and can't walk. And she's trying to call her friends, her white friends, and none of them will come over to help her. But her maid, who's, Hispanic, happens to come home and see her and helps her up and helps her, with her ankle and does all this good stuff. And it's such a kind of heartwarming moment of like, where she realized, oh man, you're my real friend. Like, you helped me. My people I thought were my friends, couldn't be bothered to come help me, and so that was a good moment, I think. And then there's this interesting moment with this racist cop played by Matt Dillon, who did get nominated for an Oscar, who does some really terrible things that definitely, he should be fired from being a cop. He's a terrible cop. But then at the end, he saves a woman, a black woman, from a burning car. He risks his life to save this woman and saves her life. And so then you're left going, huh, that was a really heroic thing that this really terrible person did. What should I think about this person? Anyway, so to me, those were some interesting ideas to think about. And they did that with a lot of different characters. So that's why overall, I thought it was actually a pretty cool movie. And I liked kind of the idea behind that, not everybody's good, not everybody's bad. We all have good and bad in us, I guess, in some sense. Anyway, so yeah, so that's number 36 for me, and that is Crash. So that's my 45 to 36. Feel free to tell me what you think about these movies, whether it be higher or lower on your list. I'd love to hear your thoughts, read your thoughts on the comments and all that. And so, but yeah, thank you to anybody who watched this video. Thank you to anybody who liked it, and thank you to anybody who commented on it. I really appreciate it. And just thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I really appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a good and safe day.